of living with chronic pain? Maybe you don't even know where the pain is coming from. Well, you're going to want to hear what our next guest has to say. Let me take you to the office of Caring Medical to explain. I am so happy to be once again joining you from the Caring Medical Regenerative Medicine Clinics and the team and staff here. It's pretty cool. They are experts and innovators in the field of prolotherapy, something you're going to be very interested to hear about this morning. And Dr. Ross Hauser is a prolotherapist. Good morning once again. Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us in the office.
Yeah, so let's talk about hip pain, which is another area of the body that I think a lot of, certainly here in Southwest Florida, maybe our older population, this is something that they're having to deal with a lot. So talk about hip pain and maybe what are the most common, reasons for hip pain?
Well, the most common reason is osteoarthritis. The joint breaks down. Carly, most people don't realize the joint breaks down because there's too much pressure inside the joint, which occurs when the ligaments get injured. So the cause of degenerative hip arthritis is actually ligament injury. So I just want to demonstrate. Yeah. This is actually a model of a hip. See what connects this bone to this bone? Mm-hmm. This is a hip. So the connectors of one bone to another bone are the ligaments. So you could see that ligaments surround all the joints. This is just a model of the hip. So imagine if all of a sudden when you're running or you're walking, this is going like this because this is not holding it. What's going to happen is bam, 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 like the pressure inside the joint, even when you're walking, it could be as high as if you're running. So, and then there's nerve endings in these ligaments that are really sensitive to stretch. Cartilage, Carly, doesn't have a nerve supply. The nerves are in the ligaments. So when you have hip pain, normally it's coming from the ligament. So the treatment to stimulate the repair of a ligament, hip ligament, shoulder ligament, neck ligament, that doesn't heal on its own is prolotherapy. So prolotherapy for a good candidate, like for the hip, has about a 90% success rate of people not needing like a hip replacement. So
when you are looking at the hip, and we're going to talk to now about this great machine that you have here that I really think is going to be the future, I think, of medicine and how you can really see what's going on in the hip. Talk about this machine that you have.
It's really common for somebody to come in and they have limitation of hip motion.
Okay.
So if a case comes in like that, a new patient, and it's not clear why the good hip has good motion and the bad hip has not so good a motion, we do what's called a digital motion X-ray. As you know, most people don't have pain when they're laying down. So what we do is we do a digital motion X-ray, which is a movie camera picture of the hip while it's moving. So we do it of the good hip, and then we see how the motion of the good hip is, and then we do a motion X-ray, digital motion X-ray of the bad hip. So we can find out whether there's bone spurs. You actually see the bone spurs hit. And especially we can find out if you have hip instability, like the bones are moving too much.
Okay.
And a sign of that would be is if you got clicking, grinding, popping, especially when you do external rotation of the hip. So that would be a sign that you have hip instability, the ligaments are injured, and the treatment for a ligament injury is prolotherapy.
And we're talking about just the hip this morning, but this machine, is it able to look at elbows and neck and kind of any other areas of the body too that may have a similar issue going on?
Anytime you have an injury and you think like it might be that the bones are moving too much or not correctly, then digital motion X-ray can be used, like you said, for the knee, for the hip, for any peripheral joint and the neck.
Well, let's talk about prolotherapy as we close here. And obviously the goal for this machine is to figure out if you're, to see what's going on, figure out if you're a candidate. How do you suggest somebody find out if they're a good candidate for prolotherapy?
Well, obviously I'd research it, go to our website, caringmedical.com, but obviously it's best to see a prolotherapist. So in Southwest Florida, we're here, Caring Medical, we're in Fort Myers, so we'd love to see somebody and evaluate them. But for a good candidate, even if you've been told you need a surgery.
I was just going to say that.
No, and sometimes we do recommend joint replacement. I'm not against joint replacement. I just think like if somebody said to you, you need a joint replacement, you would want to see if there's an option. So one of the options is prolotherapy, and we can even inject stem cells. We can inject your stem cells to stimulate the repair of the labrum, the cartilage, the ligaments. And it's very successful, especially if you're a good candidate. So we would tell you whether or not you're a good candidate when we see you.
Well, I love how passionate your team is about helping people and, again, giving them power, giving them knowledge to possibly have that other option without going to surgery. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here this morning. Make sure you check out their website, and also we'll put the info on our website, which is foxformorningblend.com. And there is an opportunity to meet him and his team in person coming up March 12th from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at the Norris Community Center. There's going to be a seminar there where you can attend. And again, learn more about Prolotherapy. There's the number to call to get more information.
Although many people assume that they will never have to face being in an abusive relationship, the statistics say something different. The signs you need to be on the lookout for next.